Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
It is Thought Thursday, and we know the truth that power is in the thought, it's in the mind, it starts with beliefs, and we're going to use our mind for good today with some extraordinary people calling in the truth and directing our energy upon universal law and manifesting what the hell we want to create today.
There it is.
I gotta say,
what do you
why
create
not?
today? Yes.
Coming in hot off Dr. Erin's birthday yesterday. We had so much fun celebrating with you. We got to go to our neighborhood favorite, Focus Family. The
hot spot. It's our cheers.
The hot spot, yeah. And everybody came out, so special thanks to all of you who were there to celebrate with us and celebrate life, right?
Yes.
It was a really special day.
It was a beautiful time. So many people, and you know, I just wanted to bring people together. It's always weird at events like that because you can't like totally connect. You're kind of like little tiny conversations all over the place. But it's fun to just have everyone come to celebrate a moment. We tried to have these sparklers. I'm going to try and do this sparklers, but it was so hilarious. We took these sparklers out. We were trying to have a photo shoot out there. The sparklers, the big ones were too big, the small ones were small. So they're meant for weddings for sure, and for special events out where we can't start a fire. So it was hilarious.
It worked on the cake though. We put a ton of them on the cake.
Yeah, anything for the gram. We had to do the birthday candles twice to get it just right, but it was a really special time. So thank you so much for inviting us so we could be there to celebrate you. So what did you do on your birthday day besides the Henry?
Honestly, for me, yesterday was a perfect birthday. I think that for me, I'd either want to be on vacation and have just a total escape, or I want to just have as many people that I love in my life just celebrating here and there and everywhere. So obviously we had the show in the morning. I went and did a little shopping. I had lunch with Sergio at Morrow, met a few friends, had a little tiny, like literally 10-minute nap, and got ready. I had to do my hair in the afternoon because it wasn't quite right. You know those days where you're like, could I get away with one more day? And I was like, yeah, I better watch this stuff. So
when's round two? Round two of the birthday.
Oh, I don't. You know, there's a lot of people that were like, oh, let me take you out to lunch or whatever. You know, it usually sprinkles over for a few little times. You know.
I love a birthday week.
Yes.
Birthday month, really,
yes,
right?
Totally.
There's no reason why you can't celebrate all month long, Erin.
All year long.
That's right. So I guess we're going to throw back and find out about these guests and what you guys do in the mornings. So talk to some of these people.
Absolutely. We're so excited to welcome you to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Mr. Andre Hammonds is in the house. He's a celebrity stylist. He's one of the hottest in LA right now, and also a media personality. You've got the mic. Tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine like?
Oh my gosh, I have to meditate and clear my mind first thing in the morning because it's so easy to get caught up in emails and text messages and phone calls. So I usually like to take the morning, I have a hot tea, and I kind of get centered and get my thoughts together.
So good. So good. What about you, Lariah? Thank you so much for being with us this morning. She's the founder of Lunch on Me, an incredible company that's really giving back over 10,000 meals a month.
Wow.
So touching.
I mean, wow.
A week, I think.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mind blown. How do you even start your day?
My day, first thing I have to do is not look at my phone because I have to set my intention for my day, what I want it to look like. And a lot of times for me, it's just focusing on what's important to me, which is being a vessel and spreading messages and intentionally putting love in every space that I can.
You
So
are
that's
such
what
an incredible
Walking angel,
demonstration.
right
Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And Dawn, thank you so much for being with us this morning. She is the sit-down comedian. She's an actor. She's a writer. She's an incredible entertainment mogul. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what your morning routine is. How do you start your day and set your intentions?
Well, I think I kind of echo everything that was said on the couch here this morning. I start my day, I usually look for a meditation or some sort of positive affirmation or something, and it's usually on YouTube. And then I either get my smoothie that's I either pre-made from the night before or start creating a smoothie in my kitchen depending on how organized I was the day before. So.
Isn't that key? It's like, how can you set yourself up for success the night before so you can do your morning right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, Rob does that really well. Thank you all so much for being here. We're excited to get to talk to you more later in the show.
Only out of necessity, Jess.
But you know what though? I gotta take another note from your book. Time to reread the Rob Mack official book.
Oh, appreciate
Sum
it.
up your book. Like if you were to say, people are like, obviously it's about happiness and the inside out, but like sum it up.
Joy first, everything else you have time for after that.
man, I got to reprioritize.
Yeah.
I'm like so guilty of like work, then maybe self. And I love what I do. So, you know, the old adage, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But holy smokes, I think everything's a little out of whack right now.
That's why I wrote the book, Jazz, and you make such a great point. Like, I wrote the book, Happiness from the Inside Out, because I was exhausted. I was used to being such a hardworking kid and a hardworking adult, and I felt like I wasn't getting the return on my investment, time and energy-wise. And so I just did some research, and at the time I had clients, and I just discovered that like happiness was this master key for unlocking all the good in your life. So whether it was making more money, whether it was having better relationships or longer lasting relationships, or being sort of perceived as more attractive, whether it was less job burnout, whether it was greater health, whether it was longer life, all of those things you can achieve more effortlessly if you put happiness first.
Right.
But how do you ditch the guilt around that? Because I think I'm not alone in the thought that like, oh, I should be doing work, or I should be doing X, Y, and Z, rather than I should be focusing on my own happiness. That it almost seems selfish.
Yeah, it is. And so Michael Jordan has a great quote. He said, some point, he said, it takes an authentic, selfish person to eventually be authentically unselfish. So we often think that we're being like really selfless early in our lives. We think that we're doing, you know, the sort of the selfless thing, but we're actually doing so many things because we're hoping to get a reward or get some kind of reciprocity from other people. And that's actually the most selfish thing in a way, right?
I remember I used to have this great partner I worked with years ago, and we would have this thing that if we ever felt like deals weren't flowing, we would say, okay, it's one of those moments, and we'd close all the computers, shut down the office, and we'd really just go out and see friends and have a good day.
Oh.
Just to like get in the flow again, and then all of a sudden deals start flowing again.
It's amazing that you
so
say that.
true.
It's amazing you say that. My brother and sister are both in sales, and my dad was in sales for a long time, and before either one of them got into sales, he would always say, look, there's just one rule to sales, and that is when you're out in the field and you're hot, stay out in the field as long as humanly possible. Like, just don't sleep at all. He said, and when you're not hot, go home, go get a drink, go do anything else, but get out of the field. And it's so true. You know, when you're hot, stay out there. When you're not, go home.
So true.
You got to know
when
when to tap
you're
out.
hot. When you're not, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Well, it brings us to kind of what we wanted to talk about today, and being mindful about how powerful your mind actually is.
Yes.
Right?
So powerful. So this morning, I'm in the kitchen, I'm getting ready, I'm about to make a shake, and there's a spider that is like a pretty big spider walking across the counter. And luckily I don't have a lot of fear of spiders anymore just because I've done a lot of subconscious work. But so I'm like, okay, what do I do? Do I kill the spider? Do I I don't want that karma. So I take out a glass and I go, well, you know, I'm gonna somehow just put this glass over the spider. And I did. I was like, all right, I did. I was like, but now what do I do? Do I just let it sit there and die? Do I take it outside? What do I do? And I sat there thinking, and I watched it go around in circles, trying climbing up the glass, trying to do whatever, and then it went to the center of the, you know, tile of the kitchen underneath the glass, and it sat there, and I thought, well, maybe it's meditating right now. Maybe it's trying to figure out how to get out of this thing. I was like, I wonder if spiders can you know, what they think, and they think, what's possible, right? So I go, whatever, I'm gonna think about this, and I go, you know, back to getting ready in the other room. I come back, the spider's gone.
Uh-oh.
It's gone, and I'm like, where did it go? It must have slid under. I'm like going, okay, and I go, well, there you go. Apparently they have a cognitive thought of going, how do I get out of here? So it's interesting though, how did that happen? You know what I mean? When we think about what's possible, we always think from a logical standpoint. And the reality is that things are possible that we never knew. They've proven this in science. It's called the observer effect, where literally you can create things into a particle or not. It depends on a wave or particle and what. I mean, it's profound, the power of our thought.
You are not going to learn how to do that today on Good Morning LaLaLand.
No.
We are not turning any coffee cups into particles. However, it is a really interesting, powerful conversation because you can create your own reality.
And in fact, you do.
Yeah, and you're responsible for it. It's outside. It's not outside of you. It is within you. So when things aren't working in your life, you can't point the finger at, you know, oh, traffic, oh, it's because I live in Sherman Oaks, oh, it's because X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, that's your choice, and this is where you're at right now, so what are you going to do to change it? Fix it, right?
Right. I mean, thoughts are if you think about it, you're looking at either your computer or phone right now, right? Somebody thought about that and then created it. It was thought first, you know, and then you take a bigger look and you go, look, the circumstances of your relationships. It depends on the meaning you put around it and the thoughts you put around it, and that creates the environment. And you can take a look from a collective or a cosmic consciousness, And we created gravity, okay? So we know by science, we're connected to all of it. So it's all from thought, when thought is actually created from beliefs.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes is from A Course in Miracles, and it basically says, you accomplish so little because of undisciplined minds. And I've just discovered that early in my life, I was very disciplined sort of around physical action I was willing to take, but I wasn't very mindful and intentional and disciplined around the thoughts that I was thinking or the feelings that I wanted to feel. And so you'd be surprised, but there's so much less effort in your life when you actually begin to master your thoughts and your feelings as opposed to just your action. All of a sudden the action becomes inspired in spirit and you enjoy it a lot more. Right. It's a lot more
But what do you think it'd be like? Because I mean, even someone who's getting intentional, maybe you spend, if you think about it, like 1/100th of the day, like really focused, if you think about it. Like what do you think our power is if we really sat there and directed?
It's infinite.
It's infinite.
There are no limits. There are no limits. I mean, even I think Ramana Maharshi said, essentially that he said, even with spirituality that's intended to help us discover infinity and our infinite powers, he says, look at it. He said, you are happiness, you are peace, you are love. But then you set up this idea in your head that you're not those things. So then you create these spiritual practices in order to overcome barriers that don't exist. Right?
It's so amazing.
Profound.
It's profound.
That is so profound.
That's how Tesla discovered, like, this whole electromagnetic thing. He discovered that because everybody else was basically working at trying to overcome resistance in the air and whatnot. And he said there is no resistance in the air, and that's the problem. And then he was like,
so interesting,
yeah, it's
right?
mind-blowing.
So Natalie, CEO of Boss Babe. So we were having this conversation. I said, how was Bali? She just got back from Bali. She goes, it was so interesting because I have a fear of snakes, and Bali's amazing, you guys. If you haven't gone to Bali, you got to go to Bali because it's the most spiritual place. I always say, whatever you need to deal with, whatever it needs to be handled in your spiritual track, whatever fear, whatever resistance will come up. So she goes, I have this fear of snakes. So I go to Bali, and lo and behold, my roommate's like, oh, I hear there's a lot of snakes on the beach. So she's like, I didn't want to go to the beach. I was like trying to figure it out. All this stuff around snakes started coming up. So one day they go to this holy water temple to have a ceremony and have all this stuff. And she closed her eyes and she saw a snake. She goes, it's so powerful. She goes, I just know I'm going to see a snake. I just know. So lo and behold, she gets out of the water and is walking up the stairs, and there's a snake right on the steps.
Wild.
And she's like, it was like, and she met with the shaman. She's like, I just was supposed to go and heal this bizarre fear I have.
It's profound.
Right?
I've heard such great things about Bali. That's on my list of next places to visit. Even if you don't believe in spiritual stuff, all this stuff still proves true, right? Because from psychology research, we know that selective perception, behavioral confirmation, these self-fulfilling prophecies, they're all very real, documented phenomenon. So even if you don't believe in sort of a law of attraction kind of phenomenon, certainly psychology has a lot to say about it as well.
Yeah, science does too.
Absolutely. It's just important to expand your mind, right? So even if you're focusing so much on reprogramming yourself to be more positive or to really manifest what it is that you want in your life, it's so important to go to new places, experience new cultures, and really expand your mind, because that's the only way you're going to get beyond yourself. Right?
I love that, Jess.
That.
You've been great about that. You travel and.
Well, I've been really trying to, but in my horoscope, I talk about this.
What's in your horoscope today?
Was exactly that. Was unobstructed access to wisdom. Was really pushing myself to think differently, to experience new things, so I could get out of my own mind. Thank you, Daily Om, for that. I'm really trying on that, but it's been interesting because those have been some of the most profound life lessons, is really going somewhere else and experiencing something new. Even just, getting out of LA for a couple days, a couple weeks ago, and being in New York, that's not my everyday, but being there, it was totally eye-opening, and I felt expanded and fulfilled, and was beginning to think differently, even about myself, than just my everyday experience being here in Los Angeles.
Wow, I just love that, Jess. It's so powerful. And if you can't afford to escape LA, you can always just escape your mind. Believe it or not, it's possible.
Right? There's lots of places in LA to go, and temples and miscellaneous things. And
you don't have to go anywhere. That's the point. You don't have to actually go anywhere. You can just simply stop thinking for a while. And I think, to be honest with you, you can access infinitely more wisdom and happiness and peace and love and even abundance by just stopping thinking.
Or you can just watch Good Morning LaLaLand, because yesterday we had an incredible show. Every day my mind is expanded. Honestly, I'm going to say, I tell people the one thing that has really profoundly affected me around the show is just how many people that you don't even think are spiritual, that you would never even imagine they meditate, and almost majority of every single one of our guests is in alignment with this work. It's incredible. So let's take a look at yesterday's show. So excited to say that I'm immortal. Age is like nothing. I think I'm so much better looking, feeling, all the above now versus when I was 20 because I love myself?
Things we believe, principles, or even a heritage of beliefs or a belief system that we have inherited, right? And so it doesn't serve us. So where do you want to be in your life? What do you want to keep? What do you want to shed? And being very honest. It takes a lot of self-awareness, right? And a radical decision to be honest with ourselves.
For me to realize, wow, I have achieved so much. I mean, I'm a pretty young individual to have started my own business, and I have these amazing things. And then when I started to realize how great what I currently had, I get a phone call. We'd love you at the Emmys. Can you come? Can you fly to California?
I will say that it's a journey. So I'm definitely not there, and I think it will always be, something that I have to work on just as an individual, because as I'm sure you all know, just being having that drive to always create and grow and build something, I think you're always second guessing a lot of what you do and the choices that you make.
As I decided to start, and it was a long journey to find the right dose for me. CBD is very different. It's not like medication. It's not like all of us could take the same antibiotic and it works. It's very different, but now we're seeing that it works for so many people. We have people that are, going through withdrawals that can use the product, and every day when I thank the universe every single day when I get up to see, I get text messages from people that I work with, and thank you. And then there's a gentleman today that gets to go to Hertz Castle for the first time because he's never been able to leave.
What an incredible, inspiring group of women yesterday that were part of the show.
Miller Hiller, that was profound when she was, she was crying on the show, and she was talking about how she became addicted to opiates and how CBD has helped her transition off that. And she brought this whole bag of all the prescription pills that she would take every day. It was so touching.
It was
and
so powerful.
Real.
She said she carries this bag of empty prescription pills around with her so she can really remember how far she has come. And thank you so much to Miller Healer and to the women that were involved in yesterday's show, because it was so touching just to be able to have these real, raw, relevant conversations about what is happening with our society and with, whether it be prescription drugs or just trying to find a job and be your best self and move forward and be your art like Mercedes Brunelli. It takes a village, and it's so great that we'll be able to be their community.
Absolutely.
So I love Tatiana, how she was talking about how as women we're going to the workforce and we're trying to model what we think it means to be a particular identity around that, trying to be tough or whatever, and we have to honor our authentic expression. And we're creating something totally new within the workplace. So cool.
It is cool. And I think those profound principles she shared also apply to men, because I think a lot of men feel exactly that way too, that they have to be a certain way in order to accomplish certain things. And that's obviously not true.
We can actually reprogram ourselves.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? We can inner size, as John asked.
Inner size.
So now this is a question how do we do that? We have all the old ancient ways of doing it through meditation and everything. But I think what's fun right now is that we're getting to this place where it's very common language, the universe and, spirituality and whatever. Now we can hopefully bring it together through science and having all different, we have apps now, right? So we can do it in so many different ways. That's what's exciting about this time.
It is true. And I think the invitation is, it's great and easy to have a conversation. And the invitation is to have the experience of it.
It's all about experience.
Right, to drop down from your head and having an intellectual knowledge and understanding of it to the heart where it's visceral and it's actually your moment-to-moment experience. That's what transformation, I think, ultimately is.
And so how do we come together, maybe outside of church, but in experiential events and miscellaneous things? How does that show up? And that's what's exciting. I think that's the next biggest innovation that we're going to see in the marketplace.
Waiting for you to lead that for us. You're doing it already.
So I have a little gift. I want to acknowledge all the women in Boss Babe and all the women entrepreneurs just supporting everyone, really. We have key socks. I want to give them to Jez. They're actually to wear with high heels. So when you have pants on and you have high heels, you can wear socks, and then it actually goes under your pants so that your socks aren't, getting, going down in the shoe.
They're like no-show socks.
Yeah, kind of hard to explain, but they're actually super cool, I think.
Yeah, no, this is really interesting because everybody knows that no-show sock that just falls off your foot, you might as
Oh
well
my
not
gosh.
be wearing the sock.
Even I know that because I do that. I'm all about the sock life. I'm gonna be honest.
So this is really exciting. The founder is Shelly McKee, and she created key socks with Following Your Mind. It says comfort, fit, slipping, and then just enjoy. It's really, they're actually really super cute. I have a feeling I'm going to be living in these in my house. So thank you, Erin and Shelby, for creating this.
For all the women that are out there creating businesses, and just we got to support each other. Anyone that is in your group, your community, just like, share, subscribe to them, give them a review, do something to support everybody. If we all rise, you know, what we consume is what is going to go up. So consume the things that are making a difference in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for supporting us and contributing to our journey. Yep.
Absolutely. We're excited to do the same for you and for our guests, so stay tuned. We will be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Hello, Los Angeles. I am your host and producer, Alex Worley, filming inside Focus TV's West Hollywood studio. Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Packrat.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting news from all over the world.
We are live
from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Mollier. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku. It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.
Hola, yo soy Gina Moreno y soy una reportera aquí en Los Ángeles. Para mí, mi pasión es para decir las historias de las personas que han luchado lo imposible. Todas las entrevistas aquí en Focus TV. Hi, I'm Gina Moreno, a reporter here in Los Angeles, and my passion is to tell people's stories, the stories of people who have accomplished the impossible. For all the interviews, make sure to watch Focus TV.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this Thought Thursday, we're so honored to have Dawn Bobrowski. I can't say her name.
Grabowski.
I'm the worst at that. Okay, wait, I've been so excited to introduce you because you're an actress and she's a sit-down comedian instead of a stand-up comedian. I love that so much.
Well, I'm not qualified to stand. I'm a comic with a disability, so you gotta.
So when you walk in the studio, you have two. What do you call it that you hold on to?
I use two Canadian foam crutches, or I'm in a wheelchair, and today is a tighter space, so I'm fortunate enough to be able to walk. So I came with my crutches today.
So such an honor to have you here.
And you came with such light and such humor. My God, you've been making us laugh since the moment you walked in. Were you always a comedian?
No, actually not. I actually fell into it by accident. I consider myself like the Madonna of my day without the sex book, because I'm always having to reinvent myself. I'm an actor first and foremost, and then I started writing in an effort to create paid work for myself, and then I took a comedy writing class, and from there I connected with the facilitator at the stand-up comedy clinic in Burbank, and Jerry Corley, and from there I started taking his class, and it's kind of been an evolution from there, depending on what creative endeavor I'm currently in.
So tell us about your current creative endeavors. What are the fun projects you're working on right now?
Well, I always dream big. So one of my big goals is to have a Netflix special. So Emmy season just ended. Most people know that the Emmys were Monday. So I tried to do an Emmy consideration and an Emmy run for that. So I created 2 separate web series and was up for 3 categories. And unfortunately, I didn't get an Emmy nomination, but that consisted of creating 27 videos and going to 76 networking events and learning about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because I'm not as social media savvy as I would like to be, but I'm working on it.
Wow.
So my next goal is I would like to my next goal is to try to have a Netflix special, and obviously I would like to work more as an actor in mainstream projects. The ultimate goal that I'm putting out in the universe is I would like to be a series regular on a television sitcom that's either network, cable, or streaming, that's critically acclaimed as well acclaimed. But I've always wanted to have a Netflix special, and I also want to do a 5-minute set on one of the late night shows.
I have to tell you, I think you should dream a little bigger. I think you need to set your goals a little bit higher and work a little more. My God, 76 networking events. It's so interesting and it's so inspiring, because it takes so much to make it here in La La Land, to build your career in Hollywood. It's not just creating the content. You're writing it for yourself, you're performing it, and then you're showing your face and representing your brand and your product all over town. It is a 24/7 job.
Yes.
To anybody out there who wants to do what you want to do, what would you tell them?
Well, I would tell people that if you really want to do something, come up with a plan and come up with a goal, and somewhat come up with some sort of concrete plan, because, like, for instance, when I did the 76 events, I've been trying to actively contact Lyft, because I created a $1,000 Lyft bill going to all the events, because I'm a person with a disability, and when I go in my wheelchair, which is a little bit safer when it's a larger crowd, I cannot get the wheelchair in the car by myself. So then I'm stuck taking a Lyft, and I took Lyft here today, and I think Lyft is a wonderful company, and I'm not their spokesperson yet, but maybe in the future.
But you're
Add it to the list.
You're a perfect model of thoughts are powerful. I mean, look at you. Like, so many people could have a pity party. They could find all the reasons why they can't do it because of the situation of being handicapped. Like, it's really amazing if you think about how powerful your mind is. You've taken this and just gone, nope, it's a benefit. You've twisted it completely around.
Well, I think you have to. I mean, anyone that looks at my career or looks at my website and sees my projects, and they're like, well, how did you do a feature film? And I'm like, well, you sat down with the plain piece of paper and you came up with the story, and then when your friends were out going to the movies or going to the bar or doing something else, you were home writing it, and then from there you figured out a way to cast it, and then you did well, in my case, it was family, friends, and in-kind donation, because it was several years ago that particular project was happening. But it's like you figure out a way, because as far as we know, we only have one life. I mean, that could be debated in terms of spirituality and stuff.
Sure.
But you got to make the best of what you have. And I'm like, I'm an actor. I've always wanted to be an actor. I've been an actor wanted to be an actor since I was 6 years old. I'm like, I'd rather try and possibly fail and be embarrassed than say, 20 years down the road when I'm on my deathbed, or 30 years on the road, or whenever it turns out to be, I can say, well, I wish I would have tried. Because you never know. You could be humiliated, or you could be embarrassed, or maybe it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to go, but at least you can say, I did it. How many people can say they actually did it, or actually asked that person out, or actually did that project, or actually tried to make the effort? And even if you decide to change course later, you can say, well, I thought that's what I wanted, and now I know that that's maybe not exactly the way I want to go, but at least I investigated enough to know.
Absolutely. As a woman with a disability, I only have partial use of my left hand and arm. And it's been that way for 5 years. In the first few years, I was so devastated, and I really felt like the disability defined me. And I wasn't going to be able to be the host, be the model, be the writer, be the personality that I once was, because now I was first a disabled woman. Who was going to love me? Who was going to insure me? Who was going to employ me as a disabled woman? So what you have done is so incredibly inspiring, because you are not labeling yourself like that at all. And my God, if you can do it, we can all do it together. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I think it also comes down to the world, and we need to get the advertisers to believe that just because I shouldn't be just sent out because it's a part with a disability. Right. I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm hopefully a good friend, I go to the post office, I do all these things. So
I'm an independent woman, okay?
The restaurant. But I think the horrible thing about the industry, in the sense that they think, well, you know, you can only be sent out if it's a part with a disability, and I have to convince my agent, and I have to convince the industry that just because, you know, it doesn't have to say disabled woman or person on crutches or person in a wheelchair, because I'm out living my life, and I don't announce to everybody when I walk in the room I have a disability. I mean, it's a physical disability, and it's cerebral palsy, and it's very obvious to people. If you see me move at all, just beyond sitting, it becomes very obvious to people. But I mean, it's like I don't wear a sign or advertise it when I walk in the room.
It's so incredible, because you've really had to get over that stigma for yourself too. Tell us about that. Like, how do you maintain such a positive, determined outlook? Because I'm sure not every day is so full of light. Well, we all have our dark days.
Yeah. I think I'm incredibly blessed, because I had a wonderful father. He's since passed on. And I have an amazing mother. And I have wonderful East Coast friends, and we communicate on a regular basis. And although I don't have that many close friends in LA, you just try to gravitate towards people that kind of have your same vibration and kind of see where you're coming from. But it's a struggle. I'm not going to lie about it. It's like, I'm a very goal-oriented person. If you would ask me about my life, I would have said, oh, I should have been on 3 series by now, and I should have had, you know, 3 more relationships than I've had, or whatever.
I'm not meeting my expectations.
Yeah, you know, but it's just that sense of okay. And I've gotten into the law of attraction, and I've heard you talk about that in the earlier segment. You really are what you think, and it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole and get really down in that rabbit hole. So it's like you just have to continue to speak and continue to say, okay, how can I change this? What can I put this out in the universe? I put out in the universe last night before I went to sleep. These universe, angels, spirit guides, whatever you believe, help me get to the studio safely, and help me arrive on time, and help me hopefully be eloquent and have a lovely conversation with lovely people. And that's kind of where you have to go with it.
Manifested that.
Right. Absolutely.
So powerful. What an incredible story. Such inspiration. Where can people find you? Tell us about your shows and stuff.
My website is my name, dawngrabowski.com, and if you go under the project page, you'll see all the projects that are past and present that are happening. And I'm also on Instagram. You reverse it, so for the dyslexic people in the world and the people that see things backwards, that's Grabowski Dawn. So you'll see it your normal way if you're a person that's dyslexic or transposed like I normally do. And for Twitter, it's at dawngrabowski.com or D-Percepts Movie, because that's my other feature film.
Thank you so much.
We can't wait to celebrate your Oscar and your Acme Dawn.
We want to invite you. We put it in my question right now.
We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Renwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Palis, we had
the actress Shai Fontanet.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack official.
Yes,
and
our guy,
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Jeslyn Moye, there was a very busy week at Good Morning La La Land. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in La La Land. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning La La Land was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed-Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jez Moye. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am so excited to welcome to the show a woman who is truly changing Los Angeles and the world. Laura Gaston, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting us here.
You're the founder of Lunch on Me. Tell us, what is Lunch on Me?
So Lunch on Me first started as a food program where I wanted to focus on redistributing waste, so everyone organic and plant-based foods. And then it evolved into Love Without Reason, which focuses on holistic healing from yoga, Reiki, breathwork, allowing the homeless and foster youth to have access to that.
Love Without Reason.
Yes, it's called Love Without Reason. Thank you.
So amazing.
Thank you.
Just to talk a little bit about the stats, we have 51,000 homeless people in Los Angeles. Yes. 30 to 40% of our food supplies go uneaten, and you guys provide 10,000 meals a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah, a month.
Correct?
So 10,000 meals a month.
A month, okay.
Is what we're distributing.
Well, that's a slacking. You guys are slacking.
That is an incredible amount. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of food.
I
see it. It's a lot of food. It's we recover 70% of our food, and 30% is purchased to be able to make full, nutritious meals. And yeah, that's coming out of what would be thrown away. We work with Whole Foods, BuzzFeed.
So tell us about the moment when you decided, you know what, I have this brilliant idea. And to save the homeless of Los Angeles and the world. I mean, what was that?
You know, it wasn't like one moment. The first time I had fed someone who was homeless, I was 14 years old, and my uncle owned a restaurant, and I was throwing away food, and I saw a guy digging out of a trash can. And it was a moment that I didn't know at 14. I'm just like, hey, are you hungry?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started. And then it got to a point where I was super close to my mother. She passed last year, and I had told her, I don't want to hide in church anymore, but can I feed people? And that was just kind of this thing that happened when I was a teenager. 10 years of feeding, I never told a soul because I was just kind of my private way to give back and do my part. And then one day a friend asked me, what do I do like on the holidays in LA? And she came down with me, and then all of our friends found out. They were like, we all want to do this. And I was like, okay, let's go to organizations and let's see how we can help even more. And then what I had seen in the nonprofit world was such a disconnect from what I experienced because I had real relationships with people that I said in a very impulsive way, I'm going to start my own program, and it's not going to be terrible food. It's going to be the same things that I eat so everyone can have access. And it kind of just like grew from there, and we started with 500 meals a month, and in a year and a half, we grew to 10,000. So this happened like overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, a year and a half.
It's so impressive.
Thank you.
You know, I love that we were gabbing before the show, and obviously the food and the meals is like profound, but the other part of it where you're saying, okay, we're going to bring all these other services to people that can't necessarily afford things like yoga, like mindfulness, whatever that is, because we have so many coaches and things in the world that we have. It's $40,000 to be part of this mastermind. It's like, well, that's cool, but like, what about the people that can't afford this? And you're saying, if we're really of service, if we really want to make a difference for the highest good for all, you're saying, and we should do it.
We distribute to everyone. I think that within media and marketing, a holistic approach has become this elitist concept, and I believe it's an ancient teaching that is all about community. So I hold all healers accountable. If you are a healer, then it's not about the person that can afford you in Beverly Hills, it's about community, raising the vibration collectively, and I wanted to make sure that everyone had access to that type of healing because trauma happens within all of us, right? And people who can't afford the space to heal have a more devastating life, you know, quality of life.
So and we have controversy in this. Like, look at the stuff going on with aloe. Like, you have to have this perfect body, be able to do, 360 splits, and like then you're considered a yoga person. Like, what are we doing, you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's marketing and branding, and not, that's far removed from what the ancient teachings show, which is all about community. When you go to India, you don't have to do a headstand. It's everyone coming together collectively saying, you know what, this creates a vibration for all of us, and it's really lifting the vibration, and it's connectedness. Like, it's so easy to be separated. It's so hard to be joined together, and I wanted to create spaces where people could do that. Whether you're coming from Beverly Hills or you're on Skid Row, I wanted a place where we could all collectively raise the vibration, and that's why I created these spaces for us all to go.
Just love that. What's been the hardest part of sort of building?
I mean, it's a lot of work. It's the hands. It's realizing how much is wasted and needing hands to distribute it. You know, it's food isn't necessarily the factor because we're wasting 40% of food in America. It never even makes it just for cosmetic purposes. So for me, it's that, and sometimes people have these preconceived notions of what homelessness is because of lack of experience. It comes from a place of ignorance. So the hard is, I can't teach you. You have to experience it, but you have to be willing to take the step out of your comfort zone to come see these people, come meet people who are homeless, you know? A lot of people have reasons as to why they've never been kind to someone suffering, and no one ever thinks, well, that's someone's family member, that's someone's brother, that's someone's uncle. Like, these are people, it's just a circumstance.
So what would you tell somebody who needs to kind of get over that fear, that stigma, and who wants to be involved, but it's like, ooh, but I don't know if I can. I mean, because people are uncomfortable. Let's be real and honest. Like, going to Skid Row is scary. I've accidentally driven down Skid Row, and people have approached my car. I don't feel safe getting out. But I would love to be able to go and give back.
So I think, again, it starts with, like, we don't grow in comfort, and it starts with micro gestures. To me, it's not always about going to Skid Row, but what about the people at your gas station, in your neighborhood, in front of your grocery store? Starting there, like, we have to correct whatever's in us that allows us to walk past someone suffering. And that's the biggest thing is, if you can go into a grocery store and know someone's outside and hasn't had a meal, and you can't even offer them a water bottle or something in your cart that you're probably going to, it's probably going to go bad before you even consume it. Just that idea of micro gestures. It's not about saving the world collectively all in one day. It's about what are we doing every day in our part. And to me, it's that micro gesture of, if I'm at a grocery store, I ask anyone that's outside, hey, are you hungry? Can I grab you something? What would you like? You want to come in with me? Like, and that's creating community. And I've never been in danger. I've been more in danger leaving Hollywood from a club than I have in Skid Row. And that's the God's honest truth. And I've been doing this work for so long because I feel like when we're in alignment and when we're so elevated, I don't feel like you're in fear, because it's coming from an elevated place. Like, you're assisting.
So true. We have over 400 people that volunteer every year, and you have 95% of all total donations go towards the actual feeding program, which is great numbers. How have you guys been able to do that?
I mean, really focused on what this is about. For me, the biggest thing was I don't take a paycheck from Lunch on Me. I'm an art director, and that was the biggest thing for me, is how am I going to be paid and take all of this money away from a service when the need isn't fixed? And that was my way of giving, was I'm going to start this and I don't need $1 from Lunch on Me. I need to help and distribute what's given to us. And that's how I believe it's even been able to grow, because I've been very mindful about where our money goes. People can see it online down to the dollar, like what we've raised. I'm very big on accountability and showing, like, transparency. Like, we can do so much with so little. Imagine what we could do with a lot.
Wow. Today's episode of Good Morning LaLaLand, touched by an angel.
Wow. Right? So that's kind of been my
Who's been the greatest sort of model for generosity and love and compassion in your life?
My mother, oh my God, she was like the coolest person in the world. I'm not about to get emotional. She created spaces for people to heal and liberate without judgment. And I feel like I'm able to do this work because I was given a space to be whoever I was. And I feel like that love is something that's contagious. Even if it's a micro gesture, my mother just holding space for me to be where I could be whoever I was. I could say, I'm gonna go feed the homeless, that's what I'm gonna do. And she says, go, fly, do it. And just that encouragement makes me realize, like, we can change this if we're giving everyone that space and not having judgment. I feel like this all comes from not being judgmental and being open and receptive and being focused on being a space of love opposed to, like, tearing it down. And I feel like my mother was that for me, and I'm able to do what I do because it was that powerful. Like, even when she left, I told her, like, your debts are filled. Like, even with your gone, you fill the space and void if no one ever loved me again. And I feel that way, that type of empowerment, because it's not about judgment. And I see it on Skid Row, like, just going there and being open to people and loving. What you see come out of them, like, I'm not saving anyone, I'm empowering them to save themselves. And that's what you see out there. It's empowerment. And that, my mother empowered me and liberated me.
What I don't think anyone ever can know until they've experienced is when you actually do give something, you realize you got more out of it than whatever you gave. There's this magical, bizarre feeling. I remember feeling that, like, oh my gosh, I got this bliss feeling that I didn't even know was in there, and it was this magical just thing that happened. You can't even, what's that been like? I mean, 10,000 meals a month.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Like higher than higher.
No, it is. It's gotten so good. It's almost weird and strange. I think that it's down to those universal core teachings. The point of all of this is an exchange, to energetically exchange and give of ourselves. And that's what happens. It's a byproduct. As soon as you give, it's an attraction. It's magnetic. And I feel that way. Like, I feel I'm given so much with the people on Skid Row that I don't think I'm the one even doing anything. I'm just showing up. But they're really the ones, because my life has changed, because I see things differently now. I don't have problems. Like, there's nothing I could ever say is a real problem. Like, it's made me check my own privilege. And it's create a different form of humility that I couldn't have gotten without being in a space where people are suffering well. So
there's
check your privilege.
There's a homeless man we met. Sergio, my boyfriend, is really great at always giving money and chatting with whoever he can that's homeless. And we met this one guy who was outside this furniture store, and he started gabbing with him. He was gabbing with him for a long time. They became friends, and the guy said, he was like a walking, like I think he was one of the most enlightened human beings ever. Like, he was like, I chose to do this. And he studies the whole time on the streets, and he goes around, and he has all these relationships all over. Like, I'm thinking, this guy is more advanced. He's got it more figured out than any of us. He's like, I don't need all that crap that you guys are trying to consume that is just taken away from whatever. And, you know, I'm not saying you shouldn't don't choose to be homeless because of this, but I thought there's so many incredible people out there. We have no idea. These are walking angels. I've
had, like, all of my angel experiences have come from those spaces. I say that because I grew up in the church. Though I'm not religious, I definitely believe in a higher source. But I found anything that's even reflective of God and what's been written in those spaces. So to me, I have found that energy
Tell us
there.
about some of these angels that you've met.
Well, it's interesting because I've actually experienced so many people channeling, down to my mother, like down to being down there, and a woman speaking of mother. I've had a good friend of mine passed away, and a man that didn't even know me, his name was Michael, my good friend, and he says, Michael's standing next to you, he told me to tell you he loves you. And I've had that happen multiple times, like just channeling, like very divine things that it's interesting because I feel like they have it more right than all of us because they're not distracted with things and stuff and all this. They get a chance to be, whether it's in this pain, whether it's in these spaces, but they're actually being and they're present. It's real conversations, like, you know what I mean? They don't have cell phones, they don't, like, some of them do, Obamacare, shout out, thank you, because it's made it where I can text some of the people who are on Skid Row, so it's really amazing to be able to do that, but so many people are still having conversations. You know, like real.
What's that? Just kidding.
Right, a conversation. They haven't seen FaceTime. The fact that people on Skid Row have never seen like an iPhone. You would be so shocked with like the space that these people are in. They're still reading newspapers because they don't have TVs. Like it's interesting. Like it's very interesting.
So profound. So profound.
Yeah. Really, you're so inspiring. You leave me speechless. It's really interesting, and I challenge you all to like put our privilege in check for a second.
Yeah.
You know, champagne problems.
No, really though. And when you go down there, you see people suffering. Well, and even seeing that, like people in our life, we're all like very privileged, and we expect things from people in our life because that just comes with the territory. Right. But then to have someone where you just show up with a meal and they're like, "May I pray for you? God bless you. Like I want to pray for you guys to get like just this gratitude." It's like people get it tattooed on their arm in typewriter font, but that's not the same thing as living in it. Really, it's like no, I'm serious. It's true. It's like I'm sorry. No,
it's not true.
But it's so like I tell people like you don't have to seek it if you're actually being a part of it. The byproduct is gratitude.
Oh, amen.
You know, it's not something that you just know. It's you have to actually get into the exchange of being of service. Like that, I believe, is the core of all of us. Putting ourselves mindfully in the space of I'm going to do this because I'm choosing to put myself in a space of service, and that's been the focus.
It's so profound, and it's to a large extent is really a reversal of everything that we think of as that's materialistic, right? Of materialism itself, it's a complete reversal, and so almost all of the like classic spiritual teachers taught renunciation not because they wanted you to experience poverty, but because they wanted you to experience prosperity, like true, deep, inner spiritual prosperity and true privilege, right? And so I just love that you're having this experience of it, in addition to sort of explaining what it's all about, but you're actually giving people an experience of that kind of prosperity that is actually found in what we might think of as poverty.
No, it is, and
it's profound.
The people there have more wealth, spiritually, knowledge, or understanding. Because it's nothing's based on things.
Well, if I can come and have some organic meals all day, maybe I'll consider.
You should come.
And
the food is for everyone.
Much easier now.
And that was the thing too, is creating access, because food has become so expensive, especially healthy food. And I want to make sure, even with foster kids, 50% of foster kids become homeless within 6 months of leaving the system. There's 28,000 foster kids in LA, only 1,400 are awaiting adoption. So that's 14,000 kids that will become homeless within 6 months of leaving the system at 18. Wow. And so no one even thinks about like them, like kids that weren't raised in families and in structures where they don't have access to food, especially not healthy food. And that's been my focus too. Everyone, if you're a student at UCLA, like I want everyone to eat healthy and to have fresh foods because I believe it's a right and not a privilege.
Absolutely. How can people donate?
You can go on our website, lunchonme.org, and you can pledge. Our pledges start at $10 a month. It's that simple. We're all about micro gestures, and we believe there's power in numbers. So we want everyone to get involved in small ways, as opposed to just one person taking the weight, but everyone helping and doing what they can. It's like 2 coffees. Wow. Exactly. I count everything in coffees. I'm like, is that 20?
Yeah. So that was 2 lattes a month that was donated to me.
Really, that's really what it is. So it's like, that's the one day you don't get your specialty drink, you just get your cup of Joe. You know, it's like budgeting.
And you feel good about it.
Oh my God, so good, because we're down to being able to provide a meal at 89 cents.
Wow.
So $10 feeds 10 people.
Amazing.
So that's like,
thank you for your
Thank
work.
you so much.
Oh,
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, stay tuned.
mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessica Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Mas. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack Official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindel's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the Meetown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalfin Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I'm so excited. Welcome to the show, celebrity stylist, LA media personality, Andre Hammonds. Thank you for being
Hi guys,
here.
thank you for having me. Hi.
Hi. You are on fire.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That's flattering. I've just been working really, really hard, and it's so funny because I think you always know you're doing the right things when you can walk into a building and recognize a face. And today I walked in and saw Larea, and I thought, oh my gosh, like I know her.
You know what? I always take that as a sign too. It's very validating.
Yeah.
You walk in, you're like, I am doing what I'm meant to be doing with the people I'm meant to be doing it with.
Exactly.
So we're honored that you were meant to be here this morning with
you.
us.
Right.
Thank you guys for having me.
And being Thought Thursday, I love how you said, in the morning I gather my thoughts, which we literally gather because we're condensing energy. So what does that mean for you? So when you're gathering your thoughts, how do you gather them to have the success that you've had?
The first thing I try to do is just say a small prayer and be thankful, because I realize that I am fortunate to have a lot of great opportunities. And so before I dive into emails and the busyness and the hecticness of the day, I just try to find a moment of like gratefulness and thankfulness of the things that I do have, and just kind of like let that set the tone for the day. You know, a lot of times you go to bed and you're already, you know, wrapping up emails, you're wrapping up phone calls, you're wrapping up text messages. So that's the least thing that you should do when you first wake up. So you should really take that moment and be thankful for what you have.
How did you get here? Where did your journey start?
I actually I'm from Tennessee. I'm from a small town in Tennessee called Somerville, Tennessee. A small town, you know, everybody knows everybody type of a thing. But I think I always had, you know, a passion for fashion, so to speak. I remember being a kid and wanting to pick out my own clothes. And this time, MC Hammer was the big guy. You know? You had those parachute, hammer pants. And I asked my mom every day, can I wear my MC Hammer pants? Can I wear my MC Hammer pants? She's like, you wore those a couple times already, you know? So that was kind of the beginning, I think, of me kind of like identifying with fashion and really like finding a safe place there. From there, I just went on, and you know, in college, I studied fashion merchandising at Tennessee State University, and that kind of gave me my first real professional experiences with fashion, and really delving deep into the business and understanding like what potentials were out there for me as someone who loved fashion. And then I moved to Los Angeles about 4 years ago, and I just kind of jumped right in. I started assisting, I started interning, really like learning the business, so to speak. And from there, I kind of like was able to generate my own clients and kind of create my own opportunities, because I'm all about, you know, sometimes doors won't be open for you. You'll have to create them and open them yourself.
You gotta kick them in, huh?
Absolutely, kick them in.
Absolutely, and that's what the conversation we were having with Dawn earlier in the show, and she said, you know, I wanted to be a working actor, so I created projects for myself.
Absolutely.
And that's really incredible. So how are you doing that in the world of fashion and styling?
Well, one great thing that I've done is I created a pop-up shop called the Celebrity Sipping Shop, and it was born through my efforts as a fashion stylist. So really, one of my clients is a reality star. Like, you know, you should do something where, you know, you get all of your clients together and we could get... I was like, what does that look like? You know, how does that come about? And so I just started like reaching out to people and pitching them this concept of the Celebrity Sipping Shop. You know, I didn't even have a venue for this space. I'm thinking like, how am I gonna make this happen? But, you know, I teamed up with my publicist, and some kind of way I was able to pull it all together. And now I'm actually going into my 3rd event this year, and this year was the first year that I ever had an event.
Congratulations!
And yeah, thank you. So it's just definitely been the work that I did in fashion kind of meeting up in this particular moment in my life, and then this great platform coming from it.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
What have you learned about business and sort of building business and building clientele in the process? Any tips you would share?
You have to be a shark. You have
Are
to
you
be a shark.
Yeah.
I have to be a shark sometimes. And I typically, you know, I like to be accommodating and, you know, just like really friendly and things like that. But sometimes in the business, you have to like kind of get in there so people will take you seriously. And I really realized that I was a far better business person maybe than I was a stylist, because I realized that I had the ability to rally these people and have everyone kind of believe in this effort that I'm putting together. And so it really taught me a lot about being a business person, interacting with people, you know, making allies, and just all those really, really important things when you're venturing into anything.
It's such a good point, making allies, right? Because in order to win this marathon race, right,
absolutely,
you've got to run together.
It's the Hunger Games, you know? Everybody's out for themselves and build, you know, really, really authentic relationships, and, you know, that are mutually beneficial, you know, where you bring something to the table and other people bring something to the table. I think everybody wins from those efforts. And I always refer to the Celebrity Sipping Shop as a collaborative platform of individual talents, because it's a platform where we can all come together and promote ourselves under this umbrella of the Celebrity Sipping Shop.
So what is the mission and vision with this?
The mission, well, now because it's getting bigger and I'm challenging myself, you know, to like, how can I make this bigger and better, is I am aligning it now with charitable efforts. And I think that those things come with time. Like for me, my mother passed away of breast cancer 5 years ago. And so that has become something that has been really near and dear to me. So in going forward into my 3rd event, I'm doing Slay the Runway for a Cure. And so a portion of the proceeds will go to breast cancer support groups and centers where they aid these women in this battle against breast cancer.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just speaking to the audience out there, because I'm sure there's probably some people like, what does it mean to be a you know, fashion stylist? What does that mean for someone out there? Because if you're, you know, some people create clothes, some people style people. What does that mean? Just explain it to the audience.
Yeah.
For people that don't know that industry.
I get that a lot. Oftentimes people think that I'm a designer. I do not sew. I don't sew. I hate needles. And so for me, I would kind of say that I'm a curator of looks, so to speak. Sometimes, especially with professionals, they have a busy schedule, or for talent, they have a busy schedule, and they're not always able to go and kind of create the looks that they want to do. So I kind of connect the dots. I do a lot of work in influencer relations, because essentially, like, people have great brands and they want to get it out there. You know, the way that I can offer them that is through dressing them and having my clients wear those pieces. And so fashion stylists are really curators.
I don't think that there's probably a lot of people who don't even know that this industry exists.
Yeah,
You know?
it's an ever-growing business, and I think, again, with great platforms like Instagram and Facebook and social media, that it's becoming more widespread and people are having like a little more knowledge of it, and it's definitely been something that I'm seeing a lot more people delve into.
For sure. I didn't know about it till, you know, just some years ago. I had no idea that people pay to get styled, and they have like, they actually use their own clothes, or they get new clothes. Like, it's an industry not everybody knows unless you're in the fashion industry.
But it's really important, I think, to be an example of your best self, right? Because people do get judged for their first impression.
Absolutely.
And so really to be an
Very
example
true.
of love, a demonstration of beauty, to represent your brand, whatever that might be, whether you're an influencer or not, but really just showing up to the world as your
Absolutely.
best self. So how would you recommend somebody figure out kind of what their signature style is, or a personal style for themselves?
Oh my gosh, you know what, I have a signature style. My friends, they tell me all the time, like, you kind of wear a lot of the same kind of looks. They just are in different forms.
Mine too, my friend. I
guess
can
it's almost
appreciate
like
that.
a uniform, so to speak. But I believe that when you find that thing that works well and that makes you feel confident, that's the most important thing. It's really not about other people's perception of you more so than it is your own perception of yourself. You know, for me, I think it's about finding things that make you happy, or that, you know, maybe you look at a shirt and you think, you know what, that pattern, I really, really like it. then maybe that's the kind of thing that you kind of lend yourself towards. Like, okay, you know what? I realize that I like a patterned shirt. So maybe now I'm wearing patterned shirt with jeans, and that's kind of like my thing. But I think whatever it is it's feeling confident and feeling like your best self, because we all know that you perform your best when you feel your best. And I think that's my message.
Right?
Absolutely. So where can people find and work with you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you guys can connect with me on Instagram. It's all about Andre, all_about_Andre, or on my website, All Things Andre.
So appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can listen to all your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Have a great day, you guys. Please like, share, and comment. Subscribe, all the above. Send love to people that are important to you. Have a divine day.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.